Speaker unit, right? Speaker. Following the footsteps of my mom, so because my mom is a entrepreneur, and when I did my degree, it's mostly into business. But when I came back, help out with my mom. But then along the way, like my interest started to change, and I was more into the tech world. And then now they even have the term. Back then they didn't have the term like social media, or what you call influencers. And so ever since then, sometimes I don't know which line do I fall into, because at the same time I also want to have my own personal life. So yeah, so the term, I don't know, maybe for me the term social influencer is maybe overrated in a way. I feel it's overrated, but a lot of people seems to label me in that field. Yeah. Personal observation, of course, in when the first outbreak, like day one, I think people were already panicking even day one happened. But when the day one really happens, like okay, reality hits, and people start to panic and all that. For me, I was a bit anxious at the same time. But if I was to fast forward now, and then this is the always question I always tell people, if you were to choose which nation you want to be right now, which country would you want to be with, in this kind of situation, and people will say Brunei. So I feel that, yeah, if you want to talk about observation, the safest place is Brunei. Okay, this is very interesting. I was invited to the press conference on the second day of press conference, and on that day, there was a lot of people. Okay, that's fine. But I was saying, maybe I can go live. Maybe I can go live on this IG, see how it is. People can get information. So I started it. I went live, and then it's like, hey, actually, it's quite interesting because normally when I go live, I don't have that many numbers. But then that time, I remember we were shooting up to almost 3,000 people online. I was like, okay, that was interesting. And then the next day, when I went to the press conference, boom, everyone was doing the same thing. Like, okay, maybe this trend is really cool. And ever since then, it's the new norm, like people want information quickly. I think that this is what I guess, like, so what I did was I did different timings of when I go live. So I sometimes do live on, I just want to talk about COVID itself, situation, or when I want to do on the press conference itself. So I can see a huge variance. Yeah, so yes, I think I would say that IG live, if you want information, is the new norm. Hmm. This one is a bit tricky, Sometimes uh, they have to step in our own shoe. It's easy for us to say it, but only when they feel it. Once they go through the channel, then they will understand. Because we are just like any human beings. We have the four bands. Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. I guess it's more about what you're passionate about, I guess. For me, my passion is it changes along the way. I mean, when I first started, it's nice to have all these followers and all that, but then I changed my view in terms of, okay, let's say for me, I want to spread information, like something that will create value to them. Last time when I share information, I will share something that's not nice as well. Sometimes maybe I'm a bit biased towards a certain people or certain companies. Then I would give out my self subtle opinions. But now for me, it's like, okay, why don't I give something that can bring value to the community? Piece of advice, I guess, in terms of, I think it's more about getting the what you call it, valid information. People now are very quick to respond to any information that they get. Like they could get information that are not accurate, not valid. So some of them are, even let's say information that is 70% true, that 30% of the information that's false can really do damage. It's more about independence, I would say. But back then, when I first started my blog journey, I would say that wanted to do everything, because it's so fun, like I would like to like go here and there, and then I always say yes to everyone. Saying yes means, Rano, can you come here and cover this? Can you come here? Can you take a photo of this? It's like, yeah, yeah, sure, sure. But then after 10 years, I realized like, okay, I can have my own choice. I can make my own decision choice that I don't have to please everyone. I have to make sure that I take care of myself before I can take care of other people's needs. That was special because I would say that, I mean, I was close to my mom then. I was a teenager, but I would say that back then, there was no digital photos, and we didn't take as many photos and all that. So when I was cleaning through, when I started to renovate my room, and I get all this junks, and I found out, oh, this is the one. No, this is very rare piece photo. We cannot find the negatives and all that. So I said, okay, this is very precious. So I'm not gonna put it anywhere else. I'm just gonna put it where I can see it right now. So it's actually in front of me when I do my work. The one of the heroes, if you can get this person, is either the Minister of Health. Well, Yang Muhammad Dato Isham. I think he has done a lot for this country. I think it will be nice if you can get him on the panel, because what he goes through is a big burden. So my full name is actually Haji Muhammad Rano Iskandar. Oh, okay. So I've been following wrestling since people can catch my age, but since the 80s, late 80s. So there were different idols that I follow. So the first, I don't know if I have time, but the first one was Hulk Hogan, and then after that it was I would say the Undertaker, right? But then the one that really stuck to my head is The Rock. I go to different genre of music. Like when I was in high school, it was mostly musical. A lot of musical. I was taking piano and guitar, and that was because I had my crush back then, the Japanese lady. She was into classical music, so I was into classical music. But then along the way, I listened to house music. I listened to hip hop along the way, progressive music, and then now I think it's quite mainstream. Like I don't know. I listen to The Weeknd a lot. There was the classic Nasi Katok. I don't know. um, I think it was the first one. I think somewhere in Jalan Gadong. Used to be near the police barracks. It was they call it Nasi Katok Bell. So I don't know where it is now, but that was my first impression of Nasi Katok, because I remember I had 4 of them when I first ate. So I don't know where it is. I hope it's still somewhere in Brunei, because they have moved. More about let's do what we can control, right, rather than what we cannot control. So I think that really makes a huge difference in our mental strength, our emotional strength as well. So I think that's one piece of advice that I really want to share.